Okay, so this is my evaluation. This is going to be for week 6 and week 7, I think, of rehearsals. I've decided to do them together because they're pretty short and they've all just been like rehearsing the show basically for the last 2 weeks. But it also includes the first day, which is today, of performance week, which today was our last actual rehearsal day. So I'm going to talk about that as well. I'm ill at the moment. Show is tomorrow. I don't really know what I'm going to do. I'm really ill, but I'm drinking lemon and honey at the moment. I've got blocked nose, but I'll get into what happened anyway. But yeah, I'm ill at the moment, so I'm not really sure what's going to happen tomorrow. I am going to try and perform. Fingers crossed I wake up and I'll be okay. Sorry if I look gross in this, I'm up in my nose, but you know, I can't get around it. Okay, so we start off on the 7th, which was 2 weeks ago. This was a Tuesday, and we did a Blood Brothers understudy run through and an Our House main cast run through. Now, this is the first time I proper played Sammy. This is not including Kids Game, because I play Sammy quite a lot during Kids Game, but this is actually his scenes. I never blocked Sammy before, so as you can guess, it wasn't great. I also had to play it as a kid, which, yeah, is what Sammy is, but I have to show the transition from the kid to the adult, and I don't feel like it's there yet. This run through basically showed a lot of problems that we have. Sorry, hold on. It's shown a lot of problems that we have during the cast. This isn't just like, it's just little things like the kids that have to talk to Mrs. Johnston, set being brought on and not being brought on. There was just a mixture of things that didn't go great and could have gone a lot better. Yeah, I also, my understudy for the narrator hadn't blocked most of the scenes, so then I had to step in for her and play the narrator so that it went as smoothly as possible. So I went from being Sammy to being the narrator in the same performance. Then the main cast run through for Our House, that was the first time we'd ever ran that through as well. And there was a lot of starting and stopping due to people not knowing what they were doing. There's a lot of costume changes that don't need to be there, so there was a lot of pauses. And yeah, just a lot of mistakes really, but easy ones to be ironed out. But it's kind of worrying that the mistakes were there. So yeah, then we move on to the 8th. This was our feedback from our performance. So I've got a video, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but really Kelly just told me that my Sammy just needs work and more in depth of the character, because obviously I've been focused on the narrator so much, I haven't worked on Sammy, so it was lacking. And performing it, I always say that when I see an actor on stage that's confident, I feel confident as an audience member and I'm there invested with them, but I wasn't confident acting it, so I don't know what it would have come across as to the audience. So yeah, that needs work. And she really likes Kids Game there. Me and T have worked quite closely together to try and get the balance between the comedy but also the kid. So yeah, we're impressed with that, and I really like doing Kids Game. It's probably one of my favourite things in Blood Brothers to perform. It's just really fun and upbeat, so yeah, that's good. Also, we need to fix Tell Me It's Not True. This is constantly messing up. Nobody knows the lines for it, which is pretty simple lines because you just read it once and then sing it. It's not difficult, but it's like nobody's pulling together and nobody wants to learn the lyrics to it's just the last paragraph. It's like this big. It's really not big at all, but nobody's doing it, so nobody's giving Tell Me It's Not True enough power, and it's dead in the water. It's awful. So that needs work as well. Then we move on to the 9th, and because all the mistakes that we were seeing, we needed to work on our house because our house was diabolical in the run through. So we worked on the dances. This was Wings of a Dove and Baggy Trousers. We blocked and refined our house, which is the dance. This we also added certain bits, and after trying it, I'm actually really excited to perform our house. Not just the song, but also the performance. I think that I'm slowly starting to realise that it's actually quite good, and I'm not the huge fan of Madness, but I can respect their work, and I can respect the amount of creativity that went into the musical, and I'm slowly starting to really enjoy it, and then the audience will enjoy it with me. We also finished the It Must Be Love dance. Hold on. Okay, yeah, so we finished the It Must Be Love dance. I really like the It Must Be Love dance. It's a chair duet, but also like a twist on the chair duet. It's not your classic chair duet, but it just looks really fun. And we're on a park bench, and we're in the park, and we just really like it. It's fun to do, and we're a couple, and I do it with Abby, and me and Abby have a really good relationship, so it's confident to do it with, and I know that if I mess up or if she messes up, we're both in good hands. So yeah, then after the lesson we did trying the cues in Blood Brothers. This was with the set and props. Then we tried to figure out the timing for the songs, because they're off, especially Shoes Upon the Table. There's a massive break before I sing. And I have a movement bit with Abby around the table, and Abby's the assistant choreographer, so she choreographed a really cool, quite aggressive thing that me, as the narrator, and Mrs. Lyons go through, because it's the first time the narrator is actually seen by a character. So it needs to be a memorable moment, and it's really fun to perform. Then we go on to the 10th, which is another Our House rehearsal. There's a lot here. This was, we made a list, basically, the tutors did, and we had to go through the stuff that needed fixing, so we went through the list. We did Driving in My Car, Night Boat to Cairo, and the prison scene. I'm not in none of them, so I'm not really going to talk detail, but we were working off the list. We did NW5, the spacing of the ensemble. Now this took a really long process. It didn't need to be this long. It would have been easy if we'd have said, just get into your Tell Me It's Not True positions and do that, but people were putting their input when it wasn't needed, and then the tutors were getting annoyed, and then we were getting annoyed, and then it was just too much. And I understand that it needs to look right for all the audience, but it's also, we're not important during that scene, it's Sarah. And I felt like there was too much focus on us. It took at least half an hour to figure out where people were going to stand. And it's not just the management's fault that like it took so long. It's also our fault because no one was paying attention, no one was focusing, and it's getting really worrying this close to the show that nobody wants to own up and take responsibility for the performance yet. So that was really annoying. We worked on Kids Game because there's a difficulty with the track, because the track is slower than we usually sing it. So we all like sang it with the track a couple of times and figured out how we were going to do it, because we come on doing like oh and na 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 na, but it was like, do we do two of them or do we do one of them? And then, because if we'd have done two, it would have affected the rest of the song. So it was just little things like that. But we got that sorted. We did Push the Button. This is with new blocking because we've now got the set, and trying it with props. So we dropped down big boards that have no money, no jobs, debt, doll, and we had to figure a way to drop them so they don't fall down like that, and they fall straight down and into the people's hands below us. Then this links to vocal collage, so we did the link scene to that. This is with a projection. Actually, no. Sorry, the projection's further on. This is like the movement that we do. So the two Joe and Mickey turn, and then we all turn. So it's like we're turning away from them, society's turned away from them. There's no help basically, and then that links into the vocal collage. And people, I've wrote here, people not going for it. What I mean by this is just nobody is singing it properly. It sounds like everyone's whispering, and then the people that are confident singers like me and V, we don't want to sing full pout because then we'll be heard too much because it's not a solo. So it's like a difficult adjustment, and everyone's just like, I don't know if I want to sing that loud, or nobody really knows the words either, and we were given the vocal collage a long time ago, so it's their responsibility that they don't know the words. Yeah, people forgetting. We also did it with the track from the overtune of Blood Brothers. So again, there was timing on that, just tech stuff really, not a lot of big notes. Then I think then we skipped to the Monday, which is the 13th. We did a Blood Brothers run through and an Our House run through. Now, this is when I played the narrator, and I knew when I woke up that day I wasn't in the right headspace. And I think to play the narrator, I sort of have to be, to play any part I have to be in the right headspace, but also because it's such an important role and I have so much to say, I know if I'm there or not on the day, and I wasn't there, so I knew it just wasn't going to go great. But this was also the first time we'd done it with props and set. I missed my blocking at one point. Nothing that the audience would notice, something that I noticed because I know where I stand. But again, I wasn't in the right headspace. And it was probably the worst I'd played the narrator. The words I was saying, I wasn't believing them, I wasn't acting them fully. Yeah, I messed up my song because with the soundtrack, it's a lot. I don't know if it's higher or I don't know what I'm doing different, but I'm going off the soundtrack and my voice just doesn't want to go there sometimes. And I think it's because I haven't warmed up properly, which is it's my own fault really, because it's a great importance to warm up your voice. That's why I'm so worried for tomorrow with my throat and my nose, that I'm just not going to be able to do it. So yeah, that was my own fault that I messed up that. I also have to bring the pram on, but that was quite smooth transition. The pram got pushed out to me, then I'll bring the pram to Mrs. Johnston. I also had to step in for Elliot Ness because he wasn't there, and this is the frustration. We were a week towards the show and people are not turning up to rehearsals. It's another conversation that needs to be had, that this is our show, this is our performance, but nobody's owning up and owning it except the main cast. And even if you're on ensemble, you are some of the most important people in the play because we need you the most, because if you're not there, then stuff can't happen, stuff can't be brought on, so it's really annoying. Then we did an Our House rehearsal. Also in the montage part, I need to be off script, and I know we've only just wrote that, but I need to be off script because it shows really badly, and me and Abby had our scripts, which isn't great, and we own up to that. but it's just because there was so much going on. I wasn't in the right headspace. I don't think she was. It was just a lot of pressure that day. Just wasn't going right. Then we did an art house run through, and it just showed the lack of rehearsals, really. The second half needs the most work than the first half. It's because we've rehearsed, us assistant directors have directed the first half of our house. The rest was done on the spur of the moment and a fast thing because we were running out of time. So it just hasn't been rehearsed. I also had to play Ray because, again, the person wasn't in. I'm not really sure what that... I've wrote movement of dances, but I'm not really sure what that means. But yeah, it means something. Then it was the 14th. This was our feedback and another art house rehearsal. So the feedback to that was basically that that I was pitchy on shoes upon the table. I also have a video for this. And Kelly thinks I need to look after my voice a lot. And I do know how to look after my voice, but because I haven't been warming up, it just hasn't been going well for me. She gave notes to Sammy to tell, which I obviously have to listen to. So the Sammy notes were, come on from the right point, too clean, he needs some worms, and during his entrance he needs to play in the background before he enters the stage, which is fine. Then the art house rehearsal, I've put, oh, and we also had a little chat about little parts about, oh yeah, the makeup and costume. So there was just little conversations about makeup and costume and stuff like that. Then we worked on the second half of our house. This was a kind of like a tech, kind of tech tip. I have to bring on the set in our house now. We worked on the bells for our house and worked on the blocking for It Must Be Love, so where to just place your my bench really. But yeah, it kind of, the bells for our house kind of threw off us in Blood Brothers because we thought we wasn't going to get a bow, because the our house were getting separate bows the main cast, but we hadn't, in Blood Brothers, hadn't done a bow, so we were kind of a bit, where's our bow? It sounds selfish, but it's like all that work, you don't even get a bow, but we do get a bow, so that's okay. Then we move on to the 15th, which we worked on the second half of our house again because it needs the most work. This is where I played the judge. Kelly says I need to not be comical, and I am making him comical, and I need to know my lines and my cues. This is the first time I've played the judge, so that's understandable. But they're not comical, I can understand, but it's also, it's our house, it's not a very serious play, so I don't think it matters that much. But I wasn't going for comical, but I think it's because the voice I was doing to act like I was an authoritative figure came across comical, so I took the note and I'll improve it. We teched this half, then we need more energy in the dances and adding character to every member on stage, like even if you're an ensemble. So even in our house when I'm an ensemble member, I need to know what my character is and I need to act that character throughout it. So I've started to come on stage and look lost. Like the first song is Our House, and I sort of come on and I'm looking at the number of the house and I'm like, I'm lost a bit, and then someone comes on and greets me and it's like, there's just a storyline then, it doesn't just look like you're walking across the stage board. Then we've gone to the 16th, which was another Our House rehearsal and a Blood Brothers tech. So this was in costume for Our House. This was to see just the quick changes and that with the lights to see what type of colour would work better. That's why we were in costume. It was only the first half because we'd previously taken the second half. find from... I don't know what I wrote there. Oh yeah, and we really got a feeling for the show. And I know I've said it before, but I kind of am excited for it now, which is good. And with the tech, it puts another layer, and you feel that the energy and people's energies build more, and the songs and the dance is just, it feels better when you've got the tech. Yeah, this adds another layer, that's what I wrote. The Blood Brothers tech went well. Felt well about... in the tech, we had to do some acting, obviously, and I felt really well about the narrator, which is good from the previous time I played him, which didn't go well. So yeah, it was nice to have that, like, okay, I've got it, I know what I need to do. Still need to figure out the timing for Shoes Upon the Table, and also my voice was straining on Shoes Upon the Table, but again, I hadn't warmed up, which I need to do. We didn't finish the tech, but Kelly complimented me and Abby on our movement piece that Abby choreographed, and the song. She said it sounded really good. Then on the 17th, which was the Friday, I didn't write anything down, but because we just teched Blood Brothers, so we just carried on teching it, and we just carried on. And then we did a understudy rehearsal of Blood Brothers. I played Sammy, and I felt really good about it. It was the first time I'd felt good about it. But one thing did annoy me. My understudy cast haven't really played it a lot, which is what understudies do. They don't rehearse much, but they hadn't done it, so they were messing up cues. And at one point, my cue line was said before I should come on stage. So I entered the stage as Sammy, who's a boisterous character, made the entrance big, and then they carried on with the scene. And I just had to stop and recoil and then enter again. And it was really annoying because up until that point, there hadn't been a mistake from me, and I felt really good about it. So that was really annoying, but Sammy felt good that day. Nothing went wrong. So yeah, I was happy. Then today is Monday. Let me just get my calculator. Not calculator, calendar. It's Monday the 29th. So today's Monday, and we done another dress rehearsal. This was our last dress rehearsal for the show. This is our last principal dress rehearsal because we're on tomorrow night. Yeah, I felt really ill today. Don't know what's wrong with me. I've got a blocked nose. My throat's a bit gone. And I kind of just feel low. I'm not sure why, but it's worrying because the show is tomorrow. But I'll be okay. And I'm hoping I'll fight for it. So in the rehearsal today, it was the first time I felt the narrator and I felt the words that he was saying, and I wasn't thinking about what I was saying, I was feeling what I was saying. And I felt myself automatically doing things with my body which felt like the character, which was really interesting to work on, but I really, really enjoyed it. The Shoes Upon the Table didn't sound awful, but it wasn't the best. But I think again, and I'd warmed up, I think it's due to the illness, which I'm doing everything I can to try and get rid of it, but it's not really working. It was just a really smooth run through, and it worked really well and smooth, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. We also got feedback from the Friday, and Kelly really liked my Sammy. She said that it's come a long way, and you can see now the transition between the spoiled brat, which I was playing it before, to not that, where the warning signs are there now, that you see that this kid's gonna be something dodgy one day, instead of him just being a brat. And then when he's older with the knife, it just feels better, and I think it's more believable. So I'm confident for tomorrow. I wish I wasn't feeling like this, but I'm confident. I'm confident it'll go well. I'm confident everyone will pull it out of the bag. I'm just worried about my health, but I should be okay. Fingers crossed. And yeah, thank you very much.